Good evening, everyone. My name is David Nolan. I am 17 years old. I live in Richlands, North Carolina. When I was 14, I got in trouble with law enforcement. After a year or so of going back and forth to court, as well as being kicked out of high school, I became very depressed and did not participate in any events that I used to. During that time, I would not talk to many people, be active, and did not have any friends. The only thing I ever did was eat, sleep, and go to therapy. When my time came, I was sent to a residential treatment facility in South Carolina. It did not start off well. I was harassed and mistreated, to put things lightly. But because of that, I started to deal with some of my past mistakes and began to open up and to confide in others. After 4.5 months of being there, I was given a choice to go to a step-down facility or to go straight home and attend therapy with AMIKids. I decided I was ready to come home. When I first came home, I thought that AMIKids would be a joke, and I would absolutely hate dealing with another therapist. You see, I had just opened up to a therapist in a facility that I did not want to go through at all. But it turned out to be the exact opposite. Miss Casey, our therapist, was the best thing that ever happened to our family. She showed me respect and didn't treat me based on my past mistakes. She taught my family different techniques so we could better communicate with each other. For example, when we are frustrated, instead of arguing with each other, we pause and then take a break. Come back together and share what we were feeling with each other. We have even used this technique recently. Miss Casey taught us all how to deal with our own selves when we are feeling down. Since we finished, our family has still had some problems, but not like they were before. When we have problems, we are able to communicate with each other better and to solve them. We do more things together as a family without arguing, like starting back with Sunday night dinners and watching sports together. My sister and I are closer too. We used to just avoid each other and do our own thing, but now we actually hang out with each other and speak with each other. I am currently a senior in high school and expect to graduate on time at the end of this year. I am active in the Jacksonville Youth Council. I like to participate in this because it gives a voice to the youth in our community. We listen to other young people's thoughts and suggestions, and then we review them and take them to the city to vote on. I also play baseball within my community. After high school, I plan to attend community college for 2 years, then off to UNC Pembroke to study to become a licensed therapist to help kids my age who need it. AMIKids help my family get back on track so I can focus on my future and not my past. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ellen Nolan, and I'm from Richlands, North Carolina. And I'm here today to talk about the roller coaster ride our family has been on for the last 2 years and how we came to be involved with AMIKids. My husband and I were having some financial issues and had to move from a somewhat better neighborhood to a less desirable neighborhood. I was really depressed. I was feeling guilty because I just took my kids out of a home, the only home they'd known since moving down to North Carolina from Virginia. So when David came home and said he had found some kids in the neighborhood he knew from school, I thought this was a good thing. It was summertime, and he was spending a lot of time there. I trusted that he was being good and making good decisions. But in October of 2013, the deputy from the Sheriff's Department arrived at our door, and our lives were changed forever. This had occurred when David was 14, just before his 15th birthday. We spent 8 months in and out of court, several therapy sessions, evaluations, and David was sentenced to 1 year probation and time at a residential treatment facility. On October 3rd, 2014, we drove our son to Rock Hill, South Carolina to drop him off, and that was about the hardest thing I've ever had to do. We were only able to speak with him twice a week. We could visit him once monthly and participated in several team meetings. David spent 4.5 months in South Carolina. He was able to get out early because of his progress. We're even told that he became a role model for some of the other kids in the center. On one of our last visits, he stated to his dad and I that he truly felt that this had been a good place for him and he was finding out a lot about himself and was glad to be there. He owned up to what he had done and acknowledged that it was wrong. He accepted the consequences of his actions but was determined to come out a better person. In order for David to come straight home, we had to agree to outpatient therapy to include, he had individual group therapy and then the family sessions with AMIKids for his dad and his sister and I. We had never done any kind of family therapy before, so we were a bit apprehensive, just not knowing what to expect or how it was going to work. The day I received the call from Casey of AMIKids North Carolina Family Services will forever be in my mind. From the minute I started speaking with her, I knew that finally my family would be moving in the right direction. Casey explained to me what functional family therapy was, and I began to be hopeful. I knew that after all we had been through, there was going to be positive things happening from here on out. Before our first meeting with Casey, we still weren't sure what to expect. I was really excited. I was just very excited. However, my husband, Rusty, was a little unsure and wasn't quite on board with all of this. David, he was tired of meeting new therapists. He just didn't want to meet another one, and because he had been through so many over the past year and a half. And my daughter, Missy, she was a 15-year-old girl who's moody and angry, and she was really bothered that we were going to have to do this. She was not a happy girl. And because she had kind of been put on the back burner for a year and a half, and while we were going through all this with her brother. So our family sessions with Casey were not what we expected. From the first time I met Casey, I felt a connection. She let my family talk when we needed to. She let Missy complain when she needed to. She let my husband ramble and crack all his jokes, which we didn't need, but... And she didn't make David say anything about his offense, his past, unless he wanted to. These sessions were all about us learning to communicate as a family. She taught us a technique called learning to pause. And I loved that right from the beginning, and I still use it. She taught us about accepting each other for who we are and realizing that you can only be responsible for your own actions. We learned as parents how to help David to develop safe and healthy relationships and appropriate boundaries. We had ups and downs during these sessions and even some arguments with Casey there, but what I found out about my family was that we truly love each other. We don't always like each other, and we don't like how we act sometimes, but we are forever a family. Being introduced to AMIKids and Casey has made a huge impact on our family. Our last session, Casey left us with a book she had made specifically for us, and it was entitled The Nolan Family Playbook. It had everything in it that we discussed at our sessions and reminders of how to keep moving forward. We used the tools that she taught us and are well on our way to having a healthy relationship. This was our focus, and we are getting there. Do we still argue? Yes, we do. And we yell sometimes. But what we do not do is we don't give up. We will never give up. David is in school and getting great grades. He's making new friends, and he's back to playing baseball. Due to his offense, he may never get to go into law enforcement like he always wanted to, but he's not letting it get him down. He hopes to one day to go back to the residential facility and speak to the patients to show them that there is life after this and it is worth it. You can go back home, grow up, and live a productive life. He is looking forward to graduating high school, going to college, and wants to study psychology and criminal justice. His dad and I are looking forward to watching him grow up and become the adult we always knew he would be. What Casey and AMIKids has done for our family, I can never repay. All I can do is thank you. Thank thank you for caring about us and helping us through what was such a dark, dark time. And thank you again for having us here to tell our story.